Android fans, what are the primary reasons why you will never ever switch to an iPhone?
1. Android has direct access to your phone's file explorer.
2. Third-party apps not on the App Store. 3. I like the UI better. 1 is definitely the strongest point for me. I like using my phone like a hand computer, and I can't do that with Apple. A friend once said Apple treats its phone owners like users, Android treats them like admins. That's the most succinct version of it. I like being in control. I want to do all the little settings myself and it be easy doing it and plugging to computer being easy and all of it. If I'm paying for an expensive device, I'm going to be the admin. I can load APKs. Install YouTube ad blocker app. I loathe the YouTube's ads. Edit, for those that are asking. Phone download free ad blocker browser app and use that for YouTube. TV side load SmartTuba Next APK. Desktop install YouTube ad blocker extension with Google Chrome. Apple is too restrictive.
One of the main reasons why I had decided to get an Android after having an iPhone was the fact that they forced me to use iTunes just to add music and videos onto my phone when it should be something that I can just simply copy and paste.
Apple is the very thing they accused MS of being. I can turn my text bubbles to any color I like. Also, I can change the text background image. And I have text pop-ups that come up on screen with a little contact image so I can respond to texts or text recents from any app without using the notification bar. I changed the background image on my Galaxy phone recently, and it generated a color scheme for my texts based on the colors in the image. Universal back button. It's always there when and where I need it. I had an iPhone a long time ago and every app had its own back button in different locations. Yeah, I couldn't do without it.
There are many reasons I'd never switch, but that is one of the deal breakers.
I searched for damn near 9 minutes to find this. How is this not everyone's answer? Blah blah freedom blah blah lol. I've never really used an iPhone, so I wasn't aware this was a problem, but I'll gladly add it to the list of why I'll never buy one. I just realized every time I have to help someone with an iPhone, usually to fix or add email, I always say, okay, how do I go back after adjusting settings? Price. Familiarity with Android platform. No other devices in my home are Apple, so having just the iPhone would be a nuisance. I had an iPhone for work for a while and I hated it, never again. Can't believe how far down I had to come to find price. Also mind-blowing is how many people are like, yeah, but Samsung is the same price. Like, what? Why do people just assume that phones need to be flagship spec? For 98% of people who just message and flick through Instagram, you do not need a $1,000 phone. There are so many mid-range phones for 1/3 the price of the flagships that do everything a vast majority of people will ever need. Variety. I can get different phones in different styles with different functions with Android. I still have my old OnePlus 6T because it has an excellent camera and a light operating system, a modded version of Android, I believe. With Apple, you are stuck with a closed environment on a closed phone. Only variation you get this if you buy a new one, and Apple makes damn sure to come out with a new phone every year, which I will admit many Android phone companies do now too. OnePlus 6T is the best phone I've ever had. Shame what happened to OnePlus. I'm on the Pixel 6 now and I love it. Edit, since so many of you are asking, OnePlus used to be set on being a phone with flagship specs and features but with a mid-tier price. To do this they cut costs in advertising, IP water/dust resistance ratings, etc. The 6T is a perfect example for this. On release it had a Snapdragon 845, a great camera system, AMOLED display, and its main feature with the on-screen fingerprint sensor, seen in a ton of Android flagships today, and it was $550. Nowadays the company is just another Android flagship phone maker. They do still have budget options such as their Nord lineup, but they suck. Oh, and they took away the alert slider, which TBH was the only thing really keeping me with OnePlus aside from OxygenOS, which is also now gone. No real web browser choice.
Apple requires that all browsers for iOS distributed through the App Store use WebKit as an engine, which means that whatever their names, they are all in fact just themed Safari.
Firefox plus uBlock Origin plus Privacy Badger. Until I can run that in iOS, it's not an option.
Edit: since this post is getting more attention than it probably deserves, I'm not looking for alternatives to these tools in the iOS ecosystem, I'm looking for exactly these tools.
It's what I also use on desktop. I like these tools, I like consistency.
The OG question was, what's keeping you from switching to iOS, and this is my personal answer.
Comfort mostly.
Always had an Android phone and never felt the need to change as I'm used to the setup, options and layout.
I have an iPhone for work-related reasons. I don't regularly use it, but when I do have to, it feels alien. So I 100% relate to the comfort comment. Also, I really don't care for the look and feel of iOS. I hated my Apple work phone.
If I left my phone in the car and wanted to take a picture of something interesting, my only options were email or text it to myself, as Apple refused to allow their devices to connect to an Android. Just fucking get over yourselves and join the rest of the market already.
I would actually consider an iPhone if they didn't pull these stupid stunts in the name of exclusion.
The stunts are my answer to why I will never purchase another Apple device. I get a lot of shit from friends and family, and even potential partners on Tinder, but I refuse to give a single dollar of mine to a company who has so blatantly abused their market position and stifled interconnectivity.
Hell, does anyone remember how the first iPhones couldn't even cut and paste? Do we remember how they released FaceTime and said that within a year it would be open-sourced and cross-platform? Do we remember all the strong-arm bullshit they've pulled out on developers through the App Store over the years? Do we remember all the moves they've taken to force carriers to block adoption of Android devices? I will never ever support a company like that if given a choice.